Show to this 2025 NASCAR race preview here on Tim Reynolds Show. Let's go. Oh man, got my cushion. There we go. All right, guys, and today here on this live here Tim Reynolds Show, we are previewing the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series race at Phoenix Raceway. And this racetrack will determine at the end of the year who the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion will be at the end of the season. And man, after an incredible race at our first road course race of the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season, we would see Christopher Bell, driver of the number 20 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, was able to get his second victory of the year and back-to-back victories here for the driver of the number 20 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, as it looks like here early on in the season. They are the team, and Christopher Bell is the driver to watch out for here early on in the season with already 2 wins under his belt. This now means that driver Christopher Bell now has 4 consecutive NASCAR Cup Series seasons with multiple wins in the season, and also this is his 11th career Cup Series victory here in the NASCAR Cup Series. Man, what an incredible road course race. And now we head into this weekend where we are racing at Phoenix Raceway, and man, this is going to be one incredible racetrack, and we should have one incredible race for the NASCAR Cup Series. And guys, this is Tim Reynolds Show. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And now we see here for this race some drivers to watch out for. After qualifying, we see William Byron, driver of the number 24 Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports, is now starting on the pole as he wins the Busch Light Pole Award after getting the best time in qualifying here on Saturday before the race on Sunday. And man, this is going to be one of the best races here on the NASCAR Cup Series circuit, and I cannot wait to see what happens here in this amazing race at this amazing racetrack. And we see this is the 14th career pole for William Byron, who won the Daytona 500 earlier this year. Back-to-back Daytona 500 winners. What's going on, Sam? Welcome to the chat, guys. And we see William Byron will definitely be one of the serious contenders here for this race at Phoenix Raceway. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Let's go ahead and, oh yeah, crack one open for you and everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much. Cheers to y'all. Woo, there we go. Hell yeah. Number 9 is one of my favorite drivers, actually, is Chase Elliott. And you see here the number 24 team, William Byron, was able to start out on the pole for this race here at Phoenix Raceway. And guys, we're going to go over the rest of the starting grid here from row 1 all the way to row 5 here for the guys that are starting here in the top 10 of this race here at Phoenix Raceway for the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. Guys, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Tim Reynolds Show. Let's fucking go. Thank you, guys. What's going on, Seabass Gaming? Hi, Loki. What's going on, Bobby? Thank you guys for hanging out here in the chat. Don't forget, guys, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And we're talking NASCAR Cup Series racing. As we already mentioned before, William Byron will start out on the front row here in row number 1 in the pole position. This is his 14th career pole in the NASCAR Cup Series. And we also see starting in second for this race at Phoenix Raceway is Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 Ford Mustang for Penske Racing. The reigning defending NASCAR Cup Series champion will now start in the second position at this race at Phoenix Raceway. And in row number 2, we see Carson Hocevar, driver of the number 77 Chevy, is now in third position to start this race here at Phoenix Raceway. And let's not forget, guys, this racetrack will determine who the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion will be at the end of the year. This is where the Championship 4 race will be held, so this is a very important racetrack for all of these race teams and these pit crews here in this weekend. And we see next to Carson Hocevar on row number 2 is the number 21 Ford Mustang with driver Josh Berry for the Wood Brothers, starting in the 4th place position here to start this race here on Sunday for the NASCAR NASCAR Cup Series. And we see in row number 3, starting in the number 5 position, we see it's Eric Jones, driver of the number 43 Ford, or I should say Toyota, for Legacy Motor Club. This is definitely a good starting position for Eric Jones, who started out the season pretty well after Daytona and Atlanta, but didn't fare so well last week at the road course at COTA. Thank you everybody for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Sam in the chat says, hey man, what do you think about Danica? I love Danica. She's crazy. Yeah man, Danica Patrick was definitely one of the better racer drivers or NASCAR Cup Series drivers when she was in the NASCAR Cup Series. But man, we're actually seeing for the first time ever, or I should say the first time since Danica Patrick actually got into a race. We're actually seeing this weekend NASCAR Cup Series history is being made, as we will see since Danica raced here at Phoenix Raceway. We will see a woman race in the NASCAR Cup Series for the first time since Danica race, as we see driver Catherine Legee will drive the number 78 Chevy for Live Fast Motorsports. She will be making her first Cup Series start this upcoming Sunday at Phoenix Raceway. Congratulations to her in breaking that barrier. The first woman driver we've seen since Danica Patrick. I'm a huge fan of Danica though. She definitely brought a lot of eyeballs to the sport, and she's definitely one of those drivers you just love to see perform. You know, always going out there, doing her best, and making the best of any situation. So thank you for that question, Sam. Appreciate that. Who's your favorite driver? Dude, my favorite driver's always been Dale Earnhardt Jr., but right now in the NASCAR Cup Series, my favorite driver is Chase Elliott, driver of the number 9 Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports. Thanks for asking though, Sam. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Tim Reynolds Show. All right, guys, so going back to the starting grid, we were at row number 3, and at position number 5 was the number 43 Toyota of Eric Jones for Legacy Motorsports, and right behind him, my favorite driver, the number 9 Chevy, Chase Elliott, as the driver there for Hendrick Motorsports. Excuse me. Definitely had a huge comeback last week at COTA, the Circuit of Americas in Austin, Texas. Our first road course race of the year, after he started out inside the top 5, but got spun out on the very first lap by Ross Chastain, the driver of the number 1 Chevy for Trackhouse Racing. And man, Chase Elliott did not like that. Excuse me. And because of that, Chase Elliott had to come all the way from the back to the front, but ended up with a 4th place finish in that race there, that road course race at the Circuit of Americas. So a really good comeback for Chase Elliott, and he will start in the 6th place position here after qualifying for this race at Phoenix Raceway for the NASCAR Cup Series. And guys, heading here to row number 4, and we see here in the 7th place position, we have Michael McDowell, the driver of the number 71 Chevy, and now it looks like him and his teammate Carson Hocevar will start inside the top 10 here after qualifying for this race at Phoenix Raceway. And I think Michael McDowell could definitely be a serious contender in this race, although he hasn't had the start to the season like he would have wanted to with this new team here in the number 71 Chevy. I think he definitely could be a contender here in this race. And how about another teammate of theirs, the number 7 Chevy and driver Justin Haley, also qualifies in row number 4 here in the 8th place position after qualifying. A nice qualifying for the number 7 team, and that Chevy looks fast, and hopefully Justin Haley can be able to drive that to a top 10 finish here at this race at Phoenix Raceway. Thank you. What's going on, Jason? He said Rusty Wallace is number 1. Hell yeah, Jason. I loved Rusty Wallace when he was racing, man. Appreciate you guys hanging out here, man. Andrew, what's going on? Welcome to the chat, guys. Yeah, man, thank you, Sam. Guessing my favorite driver? Hell yeah. Appreciate you guys. This is Tim Reynolds Show. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And guys, that rounds out row number 4. And now to round out the top 10 after qualifying to start this race at Phoenix Raceway in the NASCAR Cup Series, we see in row number 5, it's Tyler Reddick, driver of the number 45 Toyota for 2311 Racing. This is a great starting position for him after getting the pole last week at the Circuit of Americas at that road course. Now, he could be definitely one of the contenders here at Phoenix Raceway. We've seen Tyler Reddick competed for the championship last year after winning the regular season NASCAR Cup Series championship. He made it to the Final Four at Phoenix Raceway and had a chance to win the championship last year, but unfortunately couldn't get it done. But Tyler Reddick races strong at this racetrack at Phoenix Raceway, so he could be a serious contender here for this race here in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. And then right behind him to round out the top 10 in qualifying, we see the number 11 Toyota, driven by Denny Hamlin for Joe Gibbs Racing, gets the 10th place position here to start the race at Phoenix Raceway after qualifying. So this could be a great starting position here for Denny Hamlin, who definitely is off to a rocky start here in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. So a good bounce back here in qualifying, and hopefully that means we could see a top 5 or maybe even a top 10 finish for Denny Hamlin here in this race at Phoenix Raceway. And Denny Hamlin's always a serious contender at this racetrack. He wants to be good here because if he's good here now, that means if he's able to make it to the championship 4 at the end of the year in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, that could be very huge for him and his championship hopes. Denny Hamlin's been one of the most best drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series in its history, and definitely as of lately. But unfortunately, he hasn't been able to get it done in the playoffs to be able to get to that championship 4 race and win a title here in the NASCAR Cup Series. So hopefully Denny Hamlin can take this 10th place position qualifying start and hopefully get his first win of the year, but we'll have to wait and find out. So thank you everybody for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Appreciate y'all. And we'll go over here, guys, and we'll talk about some serious contenders here for this race at Phoenix Raceway. And, of course, we got to start out with last week's winner, Christopher Bell. After he's had 2 back-to-back wins in the NASCAR Cup Series, he definitely looks like one of these serious contenders for the title here in 2025. But watch out, because Phoenix Raceway is actually one of his best racetracks throughout his Cup Series career. So now we'll see the driver for the number 20 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing come into this race at Phoenix Raceway, defending race winner from last season and also won the last 2 weeks. So he comes in hot. This could definitely be a racetrack where we see Christopher Bell possibly get a top 5 finish or even make his way back into victory lane, which would be a 3rd straight victory for him and the number 20 Toyota Racing team. And these pit crews and these racing teams need to be ready for this racetrack, because this is the racetrack where they will be able to find out who wins the championship at the end of the year in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. What's going on, EJ? Welcome to the chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So guys, like I said, Christopher Bell, driver of the number 20 dual Walt there Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, is a serious contender in this racetrack. But we'll go on to some other contenders here at this race at Phoenix Raceway. How about William Byron? He's already sitting on the pole, and he's right now first in driver points, even though he's only got 1 victory on the year. But he came pretty close to a couple of other victories already early in the season, and he's also led 1,351 laps in the top 5 here at Phoenix since 2022. And man, we see William Byron is definitely one of the serious contenders here in this NASCAR Cup Series race at Phoenix Raceway. So watch out for the number 24 Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports. What's going on, EJ? We are just hanging out here for the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series race preview on Tim Reynolds Show for the race at Phoenix Raceway. And guys, thank you so much for hanging out on the channel. Let's go. It's Tim Reynolds Show. All right, guys, so moving on to another serious contender here at this NASCAR Cup Series race at Phoenix Raceway. How about Ryan Blaney, driver of the number 12 Ford Mustang for Penske Racing, the champion 2 years ago, now is definitely a contender here at Phoenix Raceway, where he's always raced good. He was a contender a few years ago. He won at this racetrack to claim the NASCAR Cup Series championship back in 2023. And right now, Ryan Blaney is actually second in driver points heading into this race, and he's also had 4 runner-up finishes at Phoenix, and this could definitely play a big big part into how well he's able to race here at Phoenix Raceway here in 2025. Now, hopefully his team's got his car ready to go, because Ryan Blaney definitely knows what he's doing, trying to get around this racetrack here in the Cup Series, and he's a serious contender and someone to watch out for in his number 12 Ford Mustang for Penske Racing. So watch out for Ryan Blaney here in this racetrack. And then also, another driver to keep an eye on is one we talked about who did qualify inside the top 10, and that would be driver Denny Hamlin. And we see he is the driver for the number 11 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, and he's got 2 wins at Phoenix Raceway and also 16 top 5 finishes here at Phoenix, and also has an average finish here of just over 10th place, 10.8 to be exact here, an average finish here at Phoenix Raceway, a excellent average finish for Denny Hamlin, who is one of the best and one of the veteran drivers here in the NASCAR Cup Series season. So watch out for him in the number 11 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. If they can get this car running good, which it looks like they have after qualifying, as Denny Hamlin was able to qualify inside the top 10 for this race at Phoenix Raceway, this could definitely be a serious contender for this race here in the NASCAR Cup Series. All right, guys, also moving on, we're going to talk about Ryan Blaney's teammate. That is Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 Ford Mustang for Penske Racing, and the reigning, defending Cup Series champion, could be a serious contender here at Phoenix Raceway here in 2025. He's got 4 wins at Phoenix Raceway and 9 top 5 finishes. And not only that, he also averages a finish of around 13th place here at Phoenix Raceway, so a serious contender here in this race in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season is the defending champion Joey Logano, and we'll just have to see how the pit crew there for the number 22 Ford Mustang can get this car ready to go here for this race at Phoenix Raceway early on in the season. Now, Joey Logano has been pretty decent for the most part early on in the season, but he's looking for his first win of the year, and he wants to be able to clinch a spot in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, and this is definitely a racetrack where he could do it and possibly get into victory lane. And man, we've seen some really good racing here in qualifying. Man, we've seen a lot of serious contenders here in this one. And I tell you what, I cannot wait to see what happens here in this race. And I think the Penske cars are definitely going to be some of the race cars to really watch out for here at this racetrack. Now, Phoenix Raceway, it does have some banking, but it's a little bit more of a flat track, and it's wide. I mean, we see right after the start-finish line, especially at the start of the race or after restarts, if you will, the drivers go 4, 5, 6 wide here to start the racetrack at the very beginning. So it definitely could be one of those racetracks to keep your eye on. A lot of movement. We could also see a lot of cautions, so that could definitely be something to keep your eye out for here at this race. And some other drivers to watch out for here at Phoenix Raceway. How about Bubba Wallace? Another driver off to a solid start here in 2025. Wallace has scored the most stage points this season, including in his dual win with 41 points after that dual win, and he's also recorded 2 top 10 finishes in his last 3 Phoenix races, so he could be a serious contender here, especially after he finished 7th place in an effort last fall. So watch out for the number 23 Toyota and driver Bubba Wallace for 2311 Racing to be a serious contender for this NASCAR Cup Series race at Phoenix Raceway. And guys, at Phoenix Raceway, it gets pretty hot too, which definitely changes the track temperature a whole lot, which definitely affects the grip that we're going to have in the tires. And speaking of tires, we know here at Phoenix Raceway, NASCAR Cup Series is going to have 2 different tire options. That's right, guys. We'll have a normal sort of solid tire for NASCAR, as I want to go here and get the details for you guys on these tire options that NASCAR is going to have. And this is pretty unique because just a few years ago, we didn't see NASCAR do this at all. And this is sort of a new thing that they've been able to do at certain racetracks, being able to offer a yellow option, which is less grip, longer lasting, almost like a regular tire, if you will, in NASCAR, a Goodyear tire. And then we also have a more grippier, faster wearing red option tire that they're going to get from Goodyear for these NASCAR Cup Series racers. What's going on, Zach? Jalen, what's going on, man? Thanks for hanging out, man. And yeah, EJ, we got some more off-season news coming up here on the channel just as soon as I get done with this live and another one I got right after this. So thank you for asking. Appreciate you guys for hanging out here on the channel. Don't forget, guys, to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And then, guys, also after this, another contender to look out for here at this race at Phoenix Raceway is Chase Briscoe. And you may notice a trend here, and that's because Toyota has led all but 14 laps in this race last year, and there's a good chance that we see similar dominance this Sunday, especially from Joe Gibbs Racing. So watch out for Chase Briscoe and his number 19 Toyota, and hopefully his pit crew can get his car racing good here at Phoenix Raceway, especially since Briscoe's first Cup win came at Phoenix back in 2022, and he's gone and added 3 more top 10 finishes at this racetrack in his NASCAR Cup Series racing career. And then, guys, our last driver to talk about here that could be a serious contender in this race here at Phoenix Raceway. How about Michael McDowell, who averages an 11th place finish here at this racetrack, and now he also currently ranks, the best finish here, average finish here, or close to the best average finish here in the Cup Garage, and he's done that without a top 5 finish or a top 10 finish throughout this season, or throughout racing here at Phoenix Raceway. And this should change Sunday with Michael McDowell has 2 top 10 finishes at his home track in his last 3 visits here. So hopefully he'll be able to change that trend after not being able to finish in the top 10. Now he's been able to really figure this track out over the last 3 visits here, where he has finished in the top 10 twice. So look out for the number 71 Chevy and driver Michael McDowell to have somewhat maybe of an impact, maybe a sleeper guy here in this race at Phoenix Raceway. So watch out for him, guys. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. For me, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my pick to win this race, and I really think that we got to watch out for Kyle Larson. I really do think that he wants a comeback. He doesn't always race good at Phoenix, but he did win the title a few years ago at Phoenix Raceway, so look out for him and the number 5 Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports to have a big comeback here in this one. I also would say William Byron, but he's starting out on the pole, so I didn't want to pick the guy that's already starting on the pole, although William Byron's been racing really good here early on in the season. So look out for that number 24 Chevy and that Hendrick Racing pit crew there for the number 24 to have a serious chance at winning this race here. And maybe some other drivers to worry about. The Penske Ford Mustangs are definitely guys to watch out for, with Ryan Blaney, also Joey Logano, and then also the number 2 Ford of Austin Cindric could definitely be serious contenders here at this racetrack, so watch out for them, man. All right, guys, and that's pretty much it here for this NASCAR Cup Series preview here on Tim Reynolds Show for Phoenix Raceway. This is definitely going to be one of the biggest racetracks of the year to pay attention to, one of the biggest races of the year early on to pay attention to, because like I mentioned before, guys, this is the racetrack where we will be at the end of the year to determine who the champion will be in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series season. Thank you guys so much for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. And guys, just a couple of breaking news pointers for you guys. Like we mentioned before, we will see our first female driver in the NASCAR Cup Series since Danica Patrick back in 2016, and now we will see, let me make sure I get this name right for you guys here, as we will see Catherine drive the number 78 Chevy. I believe it will be for Live Fast Motorsports here at Phoenix. So good luck to her and the number 78 Chevy Racing team. They definitely could be contenders here. The number 78 Chevy Racing team always seems to race pretty good here at Phoenix, so could be definitely something to watch out for. And then a couple other breaking news happened earlier this week as we see Austin Cindric, driver for the number 2 Ford Mustang for Penske Racing. Him and his team were fined by NASCAR after Austin Cindric spun out the number 3 car, Austin Dillon, at COTA, the road race there at the Circuit of Americas. And we also see big breaking news from the number 19 Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, as Chase Briscoe and his Toyota Racing team have their penalties rescinded, as their appeal has been approved by NASCAR and they were able to win their appeal, which means they get all of those points that they missed back here before this race. And now that means that Chase Briscoe and the number 19 Toyota Racing team for Joe Gibbs Racing are back in contention right now in the NASCAR Cup Series Point Series standings. And this is definitely a good news, some big good news for Chase Briscoe heading into this race. And guys, this is going to be an incredible race here at Phoenix Raceway. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show for this 2025 NASCAR Cup Series race preview for the race at Phoenix Raceway. Thank you guys so much for hanging out here on Tim Reynolds Show. Please make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and check out more of my NASCAR content on my YouTube channel, Tim Reynolds Show. I already got my NASCAR Cup Series race review from the COTA, from the Circuit of Americas, that road course race from last week. Please make sure you guys go check that out for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment in that NASCAR Cup Series race review for the Circuit of Americas. That road course race was crazy, and you guys let me know what you think of that NASCAR race review from Tim Reynolds Show, and let's go. Thank you guys for all the love and also all the support. Thank you, racing fans. Thank you, NASCAR fans, and thank you, fans of Tim Reynolds Show. Let's go. Thank you guys so much. Peace out, everybody. Hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday, and we will see you tomorrow live here on Tim Reynolds Show for my NASCAR Cup Series play-by-play for the 2025 race at Phoenix Raceway, which will be live right here on Tim Reynolds Show. Let's go. Thank you guys so much. Peace out, everybody.